Ant, adult, pajamas. Why can't we agree how to pronounce common words? Part 1. How do you pronounce each of the following words? And is there another correct way to pronounce them? Adult, address, almond, amen, Arctic, ant, banal, Caribbean, diabetes, either, envelope, harassment, herb, homage, mayonnaise, neither, niche, nuclear, pajama, potato, produce, as in produce department, schedule, tomato, Uranus. These are all, to use a non-technical term, toilet paper roll words. You know how the toilet paper roll can go over the top or under the bottom, but most people will prefer one way, and may even hate the other way? Toilet paper roll words have two common pronunciations, but people tend to commit to one or the other, sometimes quite vehemently. I'm not talking about this way is British and that way is American. The above are all words you can hear both ways in the same part of America. Well, okay, I've tossed in a few famous British-American distinguishers: tomato, potato, and pajama. The Americans went with a pronunciation matching what would be expected from an English word spelled that way, and the Brits went with something closer to the pronunciation in the language we got the words from. For another classic pair, either and neither, there are people on both sides of the Atlantic using each pronunciation, and both have some historical basis. We would expect it to be E, going by historical patterns, but the I version came to be preferred in London, which made it the higher class version. Ant is another one that's pronounced differently depending on where you're from. If you say it aunt, you're probably from Britain or one of just a couple parts of the US, notably the Boston area. In fact, the ant pronunciation is the older one, but it shifted to aunt in England after the colonies were settled. Those colonies that retain stronger ties with and respect for Britain acquired the aunt version and have tended to keep it as a mark of distinction. The truth is, most toilet paper roll word pronunciation differences come from Brits handling a word one way and Americans handling it another, and then the British pronunciation getting used in the US as well, and sometimes vice versa. And for quite a few of them, it's because the British took a French word and repronounced it according to English spelling rules, while Americans preferred a pronunciation that sounded more French, even if the word is still heavily anglicized. In words like adult and address, the French influence is to put the stress on the last syllable, but the real French spellings are A-D-U-L-T-E and A-D-R-E-S-S-E. In envelope, the French influence is to say the first syllable like on rather than in, but we say the rest of the word English style. The French style for herb is to drop the H, but the French spell it H-E-R-B-E. Same with homage, but the French spell it H-O-M-M-A-G-E and say it to rhyme with garage. Not the British way of saying garage though. With niche, the American niche version matches the French quite neatly, while the British style rhymes with itch. With banal, the long-standing British way was to say it like banal, but saying it the French way is now back in vogue, even over there. Another word that the British anglicized from French is harass, and its related noun, harassment. They shifted the accent to the first syllable, sounding like Harris. The Americans preferred the French-style second syllable stress, no doubt further encouraged by the double S. But the British style is becoming more popular with people who don't want to sound like they're saying harass, sort of like how the British Uranus pronunciation of Uranus, based on the Latin and Greek stress pattern, is sometimes preferred by Americans who don't like how the Americans say it like it looks version sounds like Uranus.